Welcome back to today's episode of the Linux Tube. I'm Jesse, and if you've been playing at home, I'm on the Saturday podcast now for the last 4 episodes. And if I don't start making distro reviews soon, Alex is going to kick my butt. Alex, thank you so much for letting me join the team, and I'm excited to get my first release out. So, Ubuntu was the first distro that I really took with any degree of seriousness, and it's the one that I've used the most and the longest since 5.04, and today we are on 23.04, the Lunar Lobster. We're going to do a deep dive right after this intro. If you haven't already, please take just a couple of moments, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if you ring the notification bell, you're going to know right when we make any kind of new content, new shorts, new reviews, or new podcasts on Saturday mornings Eastern Time. So let's talk about 23.04. We're on the 6.2 Linux kernel. We've got cool stuff going on. Intel Arc graphics support is improved. We've got support now for the DualShock 4 gamepads. We've got new hardware support as always, performance and security improvements. Let's scroll down a little bit more in the release notes and see what else is going on here. The Ubuntu installer has changed quite a bit, and if you've been doing this as long as I have, we've been through the brown era, we've been through the orange era, we've been through Unity and GNOME, and back to a GNOME that feels very, very, very much like Unity, but I'm glad we're not returning to the orange and brown. The purple is a great look, and the orange highlights really set it off. I'm excited to say that Ubuntu reports Pipewire is fully implemented now in Ubuntu and its derivatives. Pipewire has made streaming and music production for me and my church super awesome. It's the closest I've ever come to feeling like macOS in the audio handling. It's super smooth. Everything's more or less integrated. If you need jack, it's got you. If you need ALSA, it's got you. If you need pulse audio, it's got you. Pipewire is doing all of that with plugins that handle all of those different things. Let's take a look at the ISO. So when you boot up, you're going to get greeted with the familiar tone that we've all heard a million times by now. I went ahead and spared us. You're going to choose your language. For me, I'm doing English. We're going to use a VM to keep things moving along here. It's very, very much a next finish installer, but I love how much more polished this new version of the installer is. It's Ubiquity done as a snap. Ubuntu's all about their snaps, and this is no exception. We're going to go ahead and go through, give you guys a peek of what the different screens look like. Then we'll take a quick cut and come back with the installed system and go through that. So if you want third-party stuff like graphics drivers, Wi-Fi, and the restricted media formats, this is where you make sure you check those. And if you're not dual booting, which I don't recommend anymore, storage is cheap enough for most people that I would say don't dual boot unless you have to on the same drive. We'll go ahead and erase the disk and install Ubuntu. That's what most people are going to do. And again, we're installing to a virtual drive here, so we'll just click install to get everything handled. You're going to have your boot partition and your root partition if you're not using swap. Set the time zone to New York. And this is where you would put in your details and start the installation. I've already got that done, so we are going to come right back when everything is all good and installed. And we are back. So after you've finished with the installation, you'll find yourself on a very familiar screen if you've used Ubuntu anytime within the last few years. And if not, it shouldn't be too bad. Ubuntu is very comfortable for most people, and this is no exception. The apps are very easy to find at the bottom. You have an overview of all the pre-installed software, and a couple things I want to note. The additional drivers will help so many new people get your graphics going. In some cases, your network card and other things like a Wacom tablet or what have you. You've got your LibreOffice suite as usual. So any of your Microsoft Office type functions, if you can't do them here, you can probably get them done with something web-based like the G Suite, which I've used a lot, and it runs great in a browser on Linux with no problems. You have video player, you have your system monitor, you've got your startup disk creator, which is a lot of fun. If you're thinking about a distro hopping career and you're not familiar with Ventoy, the startup disk creator will take care of that. You've got Sudoku for when you just have to play something and you haven't gotten Steam going yet. Lots of stuff for most people to get nice and comfortable. And a lot of people new to Linux are very afraid of the terminal because they haven't used it yet. So you can take solace in the Ubuntu App Store. That nice little orange bag is your escape hatch from the command line. Let's go ahead and wait for it to catch up on all the software that's available. And while we're doing that, we'll talk about Nautilus, the file manager. Love Nautilus. GNOME has done a great job polishing up Nautilus. It's still my favorite file manager. Even when I have to use other different file managers, I'm constantly thinking it's just so comfortable. I think it's really because I just want to have a Mac. And a lot of the things in GNOME, especially in later releases, like 44 for this one, it's getting more and more Mac-like. And whether you like it or not, it's easy to use. It's very easy to use. The icons are friendly. Let's take a look around the App Store. You'll have the editor's choice section. You've got categories where you can break down what kind of app that you're looking for. And again, because Ubuntu is always touted as being a beginner distro, I want to make sure that newcomers know that it is beginner friendly. Now, it does mean that you have a little less customization. It's more of a blank slate kind of distro. And I think that also makes it good for people who just need to get up and running. Somebody more production focused. If you just want to hit the ground running and get to work without messing around a lot, Ubuntu is a great distro for that. To get you going, you've got the usual suspects also over as well in the left-hand taskbar. You've got Firefox as your browser, Thunderbird as your mail client. You've got your friendly old trash can here, and anything else that you need, you can get. Steam works for gaming, Lutris works for gaming, the Heroic Games Launcher, more gaming. The Ubuntu forums are friendly, and if you can't find what you need there, you can always join us over on the Discord or the Linux Tube. There's lots of distro maintainers and general nerds just waiting to help you guys out. Please give it a try. If you've been sleeping on Ubuntu, it's a solid release, and I think it's worth a test drive. You know, if you hated Ubuntu from a long time ago, give it a second chance, see what you think. It would be great for somebody who's just fed up with Windows 11's nonsense and the directions that Microsoft are going. If you want to give a first timer a taste of Linux that's not terrifying, give them an Ubuntu distro. Just boot it up on a live USB, let them play with it, and chances are they're probably going to be comfortable. Thanks for watching my first review, and there will be many more where this came from. See you in the next one.